So I'd like to just take a few minutes and find out what wonderful thing happened in your breakout rooms. What'd you discover? What'd you learn? What'd you hear that turned your clock, that touched your heart? Talk to me.
Please raise your hand. Use the reaction button. Okay, Margaret, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Bob, I just had a wonderful experience and met 3 wonderful women, and the sharing was so open, and the chance to express and just say where we're at in relation to this question was just wonderful. So my commitment in taking this class will be focusing on allowing myself joy. That I have been serious all my life. You know, this is work. You got to get stuff done and take care of things. So my commitment is going to be, it's not that I don't need more wisdom, but I need both wisdom and joy, but I want to focus on the joy. Thank you.
I think you have a lot of wisdom. I'd like to see you balance that incredible wisdom with the same amount of joy now.
Yeah,
that'll be
thank
perfect.
you.
That'll be perfect. Next. Oh, don't be bashful. Come on. Oh, I don't want to put my hand up because I don't have anything really important to say, and people will think I'm. Come on.
Sue is ready to say something here. Sue's up.
Mm-hmm. Bob, there were 2 key words that you used just before the breakout rooms that really hit home for me, and that was experience and express. And it was, you really jolted me by using those 2 words in that order, in that I realized that, especially during the last couple of years when we're all less active and less physically social and so on, I realized that I've been having experiences and not expressing them, maybe just stuffing them down and go on to the next kind of thing. In other words, giving them short shrift. Or I've not expressed my experiences in as good a way as I could. And the example that I use is, we've heard about the COVID-25. Used to be the COVID-15, but after 2 years, it's COVID-25. And 25 pounds doesn't bother me, but fat does. And so I think by not choosing a better expression of my experiences, I've ended up with something that's not as healthy as it could be. And so that's where I need the wisdom to be far more selective about how I express my experiences. And that will give me joy.
So Sue, and for all of us, the question is, because most of us here are in the last half of our lives. The question is that do we stop experiencing and expressing because we get older, or do we get older because we stop experiencing and expressing? And I tend to think that age happens because we give up on life, not because life gives up on us. We start shutting down. We start saying, well, you know, and how many times you've heard this? Well, you know, at my age, whenever you hear anybody say, well, at my age or at our age, then you already know that that's somebody who's already starting to shut down the faucet of energy. Close it down, close it down, close it down. And, you know, here's the thing, is that we're born here, and here's kind of what people think of in society, is that you grow up here, and here you're 20 years old now, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 75, boom, gone. Life lived on purpose does this, goes up like this to 120 and then drops off suddenly. Okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. Bye. Boom, gone. Not, oh, I'm getting older and older and older. No, that's not the way we're supposed to be, my friends. We're supposed to be. I tell you this story, and some of you have heard it before, maybe several times, and please forgive me, but there was a man in England, and I wish I'm just going to have to do some study and find out who he was. I've forgotten his name, but anyway, he was dying. He was a famous man. I want to say he was Lord Earl Bertram Russell, but I don't think that's true. It's just a name that I can use. But it was a famous man, and he was dying, and so a friend of his who was halfway around the world in another country was notified, and so he got on a plane and flew there, and took a taxi and went to the hospital and went down to his room and looked through the little window and through the door, and the guy's sitting up in bed, got the bed propped up, and he's got a book in his hands. And so he went in and he said, hello. And the guy said, oh my God, you came. Thank you for coming. That's great. And he said, what's this book? And he said, oh, it's Chinese. I'm learning Chinese. And he said, excuse me, but you're learning Chinese? He said, but you're dying. And he said, no, I'm not. I'm living. There is no dying. You're alive or you're dead. I'm alive right now. Soon I'll be dead. But until then, I'm going to keep learning Chinese. And what a lesson that is to me. Just keep pedaling. Don't coast. There's no coasting. Keep pedaling. Keep pedaling. And if you do, it's like commitment. Then providence moves too. The world opens up around you. And all kinds of wonderful things begin to occur for you. You lived, what, 50 years, some of you, 60, 70, some of you in your 80s. And you've all of that time, you've gathered information and maturity and wisdom and insights and practicality. And for you to come to this part of your life and then just let that fade away because you say, well, my arthritis is getting to me. So what? So what? You've got to keep growing. Now you've got all of this stuff that you can apply. You've got all of this. It's like money in the bank. You've got this huge world. You have trillions, not hundreds or thousands or millions or billions, but trillions of memories of all kinds of ideas and thoughts and experiences and expressions and opinions and beliefs and things banging off of each other. And you now can apply that. Until now, you couldn't apply it because you didn't have it. Now you've got all of that. And now you probably have the time to apply it. Whew. You're rich. You're wealthy beyond measure at this point. Wow.
We have Marion up next, Bob.
Hi, Bob. You pretty much said
Marianne.
everything. Pretty much said everything I was going to say, but I
Please.
think we had three other lovely people in our group, and I think we're all sort of we're all retired, I think, or pretty close to it, and but every one of us are still on the journey, and if we're on a spiritual journey or on a spiritual path. And understand, I think if we and let life happen and take the risks, because it'll take us where we need to go. But it's taking the risk sometimes, like jumping over the edge, when there's a little bit of fear there, but you kind of know, I kind of know that that's where I need to go. And that's kind of that's where the learning continues, because it continues all through life. And the joys come with that and with the learning and in all kinds of little things, in all kinds of, we just have to open our eyes and see it. It's there every day. And
And that's really all, because we're here for a purpose to grow and to understand, and to recognize that is what it's all about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lori's up next.
Yes, Lori.
Oh, hi. Hi, Bob. Hi, everybody. My buddy's he turned 102 today, and he worked till he was 99 at Cripps Pharmacy. He's Mr. Cripps. And he is so bright and joyful all the time. All the time. I can't believe the joy and the light that extrudes from him. He's just fabulous. But when you were talking, it reminded me of that story of Lot's wife when they were fleeing the city that was burning, and they were told not to turn around. Well, she turned around and looked in her past, and she turned into a pillar of salt. And that has always meant to me, don't live in the past, focus on the future. And so, yeah, when you were talking, that's what came up in my head. Thank you.
So thank you for that, because it's an excellent example of what happens when we look back. We can't, I mean, it's wonderful to be able to bank all of our wins and to let them build confidence and to know that we've been able to overcome so many different things, but we can't live in those experiences. We have new experiences waiting for us. Get on your bicycle, put on your helmet, and start pedaling. We're going someplace here.
So Bob, we have one more hand up, and this is Nancy.
Okay,
Hi.
Nancy?
You know, towards the end of you giving us the mic here, I just had a huge, big aha that I am still alive. I'm going to be alive until I die.
Yes.
And so I found the root of me not wanting to move forward in something that I'm really interested in. I'm really interested in doing giving guided meditations on YouTube. But
Yes.
my fear is, what will my kids think? They'll think, Mom, you're so stupid. And, you know, really, it's a horrible fear. And I wrote a book about my life in England with my first husband. We had a fabulous time. We were both 21, had the world by the tail. And I wrote letters home every day, and my family kept them. Well, I have 11 siblings. And so I wrote this book verbatim for all. It was like a diary of all the neat, funny things and all the things that we learned and everything. I never did publish it, and my ex-husband has never read it. And I've got it here sitting in my office. I want to get it bound in a book and everything. But I just found out in looking at the triangle who I'm being right now and what I want to do. One of the fellows in our group is a teacher. And he was, sort of expressing how wonderful the kids are. It gives them joy and everything. And they're out of the mouths of babes. They say these really neat things that gives you joy, you know. He reminded me of my old typing teacher, Miss Thanigan, who, you know, pointed the pointer, and you have to have your hands in the right keys and everything. And in the end of our class, when we had to give in our report card, she gave me a D. And typing was the most fantastic, to me, was my favorite subject, because I could type over 100 words a minute. So my sister was in the class. Lo and behold, what happened was she got the A and I got the D. So, and I was so afraid to go to Miss Dunnigan with the beady eyes and the bright red lipstick and the black hair and the everything. So I just went up there because my love, I knew in my heart that it was a mistake. So I went to her and I said, Miss Thanigan, I don't mean to be calling you mistaken, but did I really get a D? Well, she looked in her, you know, just like, who are you saying that I made a mistake? Oh, she says, oh dear, I'm so sorry. It's your sister that got the D. You did get an A. I'm so sorry. Well, then, you know, I was never afraid of her anymore, because she just turned soft and you know, I just melted. It was just great. So now I have the courage. Because of you tonight, I know what I'm going to do. Just as we were starting our class tonight, my niece, who's going to help me do these meditations, she's got all the technology and everything, how to do it. She's going to help me do that, and I'm going to move forward.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, 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 yes.
So Bob, people were asking about the meditations that Nancy you're speaking about, but I think, you know, she can let us know about that and we can let people know.
Yes, I want to give you your homework. So your homework is to read the next chapter, obviously. I hope that you read chapter 1 now. So read chapter 2. I want you to see this. If you go to that URL that she showed you, this is the complete Trask triangle all the way through to the end. It's a PowerPoint. Now I'm going to take that off of here and I'm going to talk to you. You have, in this class, we're going to do this class different than we've done any classes before. I want you to read the chapter. Read the chapter. But also, I want you to go online and look at this PowerPoint. And I want you to begin to study and learn the triangle. So as we go through each week, we will have gained the wisdom of the chapter, but we'll have the experience of the triangle. So be learning the triangle and reading the chapter, looking at the triangle. I'm not asking you to do anything special about the triangle. Just go in and begin to look at it. I think you'll be fascinated enough that you'll stick with it. And next week, we're going to really start getting into the triangle. So that's your homework. Now, I want to tell you that we are a nonprofit foundation. We don't have any grants. Nobody's taking care of us. These classes are free unless you want to make a donation. If you want to make a donation, we sure would enjoy that. Here's how you can do it. You can make donations to unityofvancouver.org. If you go to unityvancouver.org, it'll show you how to make a donation. You can do that. And we'll get this other stuff straightened out so it'll be easier for you next week. Anyway, I love you. Do your homework. Love each other. Love yourselves. Stay happy. Experience, express, grow in wisdom and joy, and be there on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock or be square.